Hello, and welcome to Boardman Schools Television Network. I'm Dan Raver. We bring you another edition of Boardman Township today, with our show's host, Mr. Bill Light, Boardman Township Fiscal Officer, and his guest, Mr. Jason Lurie, Boardman Township Administrator. Our program will provide updates on the township's status in the design and construction of a desperately needed new fire station. Thanks for joining us today, Mr. Light and Mr. Lurie. So, the biggest talk of the, Boardman Township is this fire station. Can you tell us a little bit about the bidding process?
That has been on the agenda for 3 years.
3 years.
Probably more than 3 years. The old fire station, if it were anybody else owning that building, it would have been condemned 10 years ago.
Wow.
So we finally got ourselves into a position where we negotiated with the schools. We came up with a land swap that fit both of our needs. They got to move, the schools have to move their bus garage off of McClurg Road. We had a building on Robb Avenue. So we're just swapping the land at Center Middle for their new bus garage, our old cold storage building. Okay. So that got the ball rolling. And from that point on, Jason has been the point man on all of the design work, all of the bid process, and we actually got to a point where last month we opened bids, and there were some problems with it, and every place we go now people want to know, well, you had the bids, what's the next step? But I think I would like to back up and let Jason take it from the design stage to the costing, to the bid process, and bring it up from there.
Absolutely. Yep. With our fire station being built in 1920, back then, the trucks were a little smaller. They didn't have as many people in terms of population. There wasn't as many businesses. So that station worked for a time period. And now, when we're looking at this new station, we had to make some accommodations for the new apparatuses they build, which can't fit in our current station's garage bay. So when we were designing the station, we knew that we had to modernize the garage area to fit the newer style vehicles.
That makes some sense.
Prepare for some growth. There's some communities out there that partner with ambulance companies to station in their facilities. It's a good idea to kind of keep that in mind in building ours. And then there were a lot of firemen in the service, and that had been a tradition for years. But you have firewomen now, and those stations weren't designed for having two genders, essentially.
The co-ed living space.
So we actually built the station to the modern design with, modern firefighters working. So that process took about 3 months of design. Our architect that was awarded the bid was MS Consultants, architect engineer. The station will be about 18,000 square feet if constructed. And we worked with the fire chief. We went and visited different fire stations. Obviously, we worked with the trustees and fiscal officer asking questions about the style, costs, keeping it within a budgetary amount. When it was all designed, we had an estimate anywhere between $3.5 and $4 million was our engineer's estimate for the build of this project. The only way you're going to know, though, is to go out to bid. So we processed the paperwork and prepared a very thick bid packet, and we put that out for bid. When we received all the bids back after about a 3-week, 4-week period, at our trustees meeting, we had 15 applicants.
Wow, 15.
15, and there's a process for that. You have to be in on time, and you have to have a complete packet. And as we were going through the packets, unfortunately, we had one packet that came in late and was incomplete.
Okay.
And as the trustees read all the bids, their bid included, it ended up being one of the lower bids, the lowest bid.
So that would have been the best bid.
Yes,
but it was
late. And when you do that and you violate your own bid procedures, it's unfair to the 14 other bidders that basically follow the rules in that circumstance. So Through this process, there's mechanisms in our bid manual, bid document that we have to follow to reject a bid, go through a procedure for an appeal. So we're at that stage, and we have to follow, like I said, that bid book to a T. And what we're looking to do now is hopefully award a bid this month, because we want to get started as soon as possible. Not only do we have to get back on track for the construction season, but we're also working next to a school. So we want to take into consideration the school's schedule and be a good partner with them. So when we're building, we can lay out and know when school functions are going on and when we have to do critical parts of the build. So
to keep everything safe and running smoothly for the construction.
Exactly. What worries me is the time. So we really need to award this month, and I'd like to see construction March, April. If it gets pushed back April, May, June, we could run into some scheduling problems, which I think we're all trying to avoid. And that was the major concern for the elected officials. But we couldn't really do anything if Mr. Light couldn't help us find the best possible way to finance this thing. So I know Bill's been working hard on that, and that's kind of where we're at today with the fire station build.
The building that we're planning on constructing, we use an estimate of $3.5 million. That's what the design engineers thought it was going to be. The bids, if you put it on a grid line, tended to be clustered right around there. So we know that we have a well-priced building to build.
Okay, that's good.
And we have our old property over at the corner of South Avenue and 224, or Southern Boulevard and 224, up for sale. And we expect to get somewhere in the vicinity of $1 million for that property.
So that'll go towards the funding for the construction of the building then.
And so that added to the, or subtracted from the bid, says we need about $2.5 million. But that's a fuzzy number, because we've already got about $300,000 in the design and all the cost that we have in it, the soft cost.
Okay.
So we're looking to finance $3 million. And so what we did was we went to 3 or 4 of the local lending institutions, asking them if they would like to propose. And we have the bid proposals for the financing back in, except for one. And I said we needed them in by the end of February. So as soon as the third bid package for them come in, I'm going to take it to several colleagues of mine that are in the finance business. I'm going to redact the names and give them the 3 packages and tell them which one is the best.
Okay, so
I mean, I'll be doing the same thing along with the trustees, but the outside people are going to look at it and say, I don't know anybody in this, but here's
most neutral decision for it.
And this is the one that's going to cost the least for the township over the life of the loan. And everybody keeps asking me, when can I have that? When can I have that? Well, you know, as soon as we get a hard number, then I can get that put together. And you know, if everything goes right, if we get this bid adopted by the end of the month, I will be able to have that financing ready to go early March, and then we can get started.
And then moving quickly is the best way to go about this.
Yes, and I think that you know, we wanted to bring this today because, one, we want to stay ahead of the rumor mill. You know, if for some reason people know more about the financing package than I do. Some people know more about the construction than we do. I don't know where it comes from, but I can assure you that what we've presented today, as far as the construction, as far as the bid process, the awarding, and the financing, is where we are.
Those are the
You
facts.
can't put it any plainer than that. So as soon as we know, we'll let everybody know. And, but I do know one thing, that the strategic location of Center Middle gets us 3 minutes closer to the south of Boardman. It's unbelievable. Some guys could hit a golf ball, from the old station to the new station.
Wow.
But they fight traffic with 2 big fire trucks and a command car. To get through there, it's 3 minutes on the streets. Now we got a straight shot down Route 7, Market Street,
So you'll be right
to
next
get to the south. So that's a strategic plus.
Yeah.
I think aesthetically what it's going to do, even though it's a modern building sitting next to Center Middle, it's going to look just absolutely gorgeous up on that corner.
Yeah, considering the old building is, as worn down as it is.
Well, that's Boardman. As long as I've been in Boardman for 40 years, that is Boardman. It's the landmark everybody uses. Well, Southern Park Mall, but I don't count them because I don't have anything to do with them. But, as far as we go, the schools in the township are Boardman.
Okay.
And Boardman Park. Sorry, Dan.
And Boardman Park, of course.
And Boardman Park.
So you talked a little bit about how the bidding process was delayed a little bit with the lowest bid. Can you tell us how that's going to affect the building?
Well,
construction?
the only thing it does is it delays. It delays us being able to award a bid. It delays the contract that's awarded, maybe upsetting their schedule, because these things, all of those bidders say, well, if I can get the bid in early February, I can start March 5th. Mm-hmm. Well, now we're going to push up to the 27th of February, and that 3 weeks is critical because now our contractor may not be able to start on his start date.
Okay, so that's why it's going to be pushed back into March or April.
Yes, and if you push back a week, the experience is you push back 3 weeks. So, and like Jason said, we have so many coordinations to accomplish. And we're in process of hiring a construction manager who's going to assist us in that. That construction manager is going to coordinate schedules between the schools, the township, and the contractor.
And make everything run efficient.
Yes. And did we get the street light or the lighting at the mall and the station?
That was a big issue. For whatever reason, that road isn't an Ohio Department of Transportation road. So ODOT is the word, the acronym they use. And when we submitted our plans, at first they denied the fire station to be built on the corner. They said, we can't give you access out. And well, I didn't know if they knew it was a fire station.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure they clearly understood that what's leaving on Route 7 on Market Street, what's coming out are the fire trucks when they're running an emergency. So
Yes.
lights and sirens, clearing the intersection, things that we've done at our old building, which is in a more difficult traffic situation than where this new
less safe than it would be over there.
So this new proposed location is actually much safer, but they were denying the access out. So we did meet with them. We are okay now. I think they just had to understand it was a fire station. We weren't having people pulling in and out of Route 7. It's at the corner of Market Street, Route 7, and Stadium Drive. So our employee access would be on Stadium Drive. So I think that was the major point of clarification.
Yeah, to make sure it isn't just like...
Yeah, but that could have gummed up the project a little bit
Quite a
if they
bit
didn't
there.
give us an access out. So it was very important to do that.
It is. It's really good that went well. And
Yeah, there's so many little things
Little
in this.
things,
that-
just little things that would, as along the way, that you just had to keep up on, and the timeline, the scheduling. It's all very crucial, and as Bill said, a project manager in this case for us is going to be big because this is a building that hopefully lasts 100 years.
Yeah, it's going to be a great addition to Boardman. So do you have any other comments about this?
No, I just hope that the people understand that, you know, we may look like a snail moving forward, but it isn't all our fault. I mean, most of the fault will fall on Jason because, you know, which is okay.
That's okay.
Which is okay.
Yeah, I'm used to
He's
that.
paid to take the bullets for the
take
township.
the beating,
so.
yeah.
But other than that, I think, you know, I appreciate the opportunity to get this out in front of people, and I hope people understand that this process is only going to improve Boardman.
It can only help us.
We're only going to get one shot at it, so we want to make it right.
With those reduced response times, that's just a big thing for everyone.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And help safety and help save lives. So
Big time. Big time.
that's what we're looking for. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Oh,
Both of you.
it's our pleasure.
Mr. Lurie, Mr. Light.
Okay.
Been great.
So we can see the efficient internal operation of the Boardman Township is credited both to you and our township trustees. We wish you all success in this very exciting venture. Thank you, Mr. Light and Mr. Lurie, and all township government employees for your continued efforts and dedication in keeping Boardman a nice place to call home. Thank you for joining us today. For BSTN, this is Dan Raver. Let's keep striving for excellence.